2 days in a row. I forgot to turn on the light. What's coming? What's going on? Anyway, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, Twitch chat. Welcome back to Let Us Play. I'm your host, Father Evans. Good to see you, Brayhard. Good to see you, Gale. Congratulations, Brayhard. You have a broken crown this day. There is no chicken jockey. Microsoft Azure servers are down, and that includes Minecraft. So, no Minecraft on midweek Minecraft day. So, yeah. That's fun. So, here's the question. What should I play instead? Put the poll up, and it looks like folks are saying something else. I gotta do some Kingdom Hearts randomizer Archipelago that I'm in. Riven, just get a jump start on for tomorrow. Or something else. And in that something else, what do we want to do? Do we want to do a roguelike? Do we want to do something like FTL or Loop Hero today? Do we want to play something retro, like on the Super Nintendo? Loop Hero? It's a good choice. I have to install it. I don't know why it's not installed. Oh no, all 50 megabytes. Well, you know. Yeah. You can work on your Archipelago. That is one of the votes. If you vote in the poll right now, that is one of the options. Also good to see a squirrel. However, wow, it looks like someone has seriously put a lot of votes into something else. Because I don't think 70 people are actively watching the stream. 76. 82. Someone just wants to see how high they can get that number now. Yeah, it's Kingdom Hearts randomized. Of course I'm doing Kingdom Hearts. Democracy in action. Oh, you understand something else? Oh, that's all good. To be honest, though, the problem is that I don't really have a ton to do, because I can do... Nightmare Before Christmas, and that's really it. I might be able to do Hollow Bastion, but I'm pretty squishy. So I'm kind of in BK mode myself. Gale contributed 122 extra votes. A lot of extra votes. Is that democracy? Well, Gale, since you spent so many points, I'm gonna play something else anyway. First AWS. Yeah, AWS was down earlier this week. Now Azure. It's not a great week for web hosting. And I don't know how Twitch didn't go down when AWS went down. So, Gale, since you contributed so many points, I mean, it wasn't only a partial outage, but still, like, you know, something like I expected Twitch to be first out. Gale, since you redeemed so many points, I'm gonna give you the choice of 3 games. Does Microsoft try turning it off and on again? I don't know. You should call Bill Gates. Should we play FTL? Loop Hero, or Nubby's Number Factory? Nubby's, of course, that's what you say. I've never played this on stream. It's safe to play on stream, right? Surely it is. Let's see that bit rate. Oh. Can I turn my bitrate up? Welcome to Nubby's Number Factory. If you have never seen this before, this is a bizarre little roguelike that has taken way too much of my life. I will start, I'm going to play just normal Tony, which I have not played in forever. So the goal is to bounce Nubby here and get points for the equal to the round goal. And if you earn over, you get coins. I have gotten a score of infinite in this game. It counts up to a Google, and then it goes, you win. Oh man, I'm gonna save that squid. I tell you what a sentence. Okay. Rock. I have to read these because I A, haven't played in a while, and B, I normally play out a mode where everything's randomized, so I don't remember what basic items do. Doubles 4 random pegs whose number is less than 32 when he hits the wall twice. 10 pegs pops a random peg. Get points twice. He emits a burst of nuclear energy. Waste pops any pegs it touches. Oh. Oh no. Do you want to go for all pops or infinite score? I prefer infinite score. So I'm kind of between the pants and the uranium rod as my first item. I think the uranium rod is good because it has widespread effects. Yeah, hi Roxy. Minecraft is broken. And Gale spent over 1,000 channel points voting for something else, and so I gave him the choice of 3 roguelikes, and I'm shocked at his choice, to be honest. First peg popped. Yeah, we'll go with zombie. Haven't seen him play this in a while. There hasn't been a big update in a while, so DFS has classed in him. Well, that's probably for the best, actually. Ooh. So I could get the squid, or I could upgrade the rod. Is it? I think it's good. Honestly, Happy Seal can really help out in the long game. That Happy Seal smacking all these things. Uh-oh, prediction started. What's this prediction? Will I complete this run? Ooh, that's a good question. I don't know. If it was the rando mode, I think I could say yes pretty confidently, but a normal mode? Ooh, it's been a while. How much money do I have? I want this key. This key is really good. Might sell that, but it's fine to have for now. Ah, that was so close. Okay. First peg popped. 1 and 2 chance to double all pegs. Number 2. 2 random pegs will copy the first peg popped. Since 4 pegs will do it. Honestly, I like Toy Fish, I think. It's like getting, especially if I can get the highest peg popped first. Hey, Britt. Welcome to perfectly normal Minecraft. Very Minecraft-like for sure. For real, for real. Oh, that was just terrible. I'm doing fine. I'm only going through minor Minecraft withdrawals. Instead of squares, circles. Minor Minecraft withdrawals. Ba-da-da-da-da. Every day want to trade? Probably not. If I'm honest. With a sentence like that, just saying. I do hope your day gets better, though. Did you have a nice feast day? Was the big mess a hit? Feast day was good. Hey, there you go. That's good. You're at the office, but so far it doesn't suck. Well, that's good news. This game is all about number go burr. It's even more number go burr than Balatro, I think. But honestly, having this squid and fish combo is really good. Because I'm able to take the highest value and make 4 of them in a single instance. And as soon as I unlock 7 here, I can actually make 6 of them in a single instance. So I can do things like that. This game is ridiculous. How's the bitrate looking, Gale? Not too bad. I haven't gotten anything really crazy yet. Yeah, I was trying to launch Minecraft getting ready for this stream, and had I realized sooner that Microsoft stuff was down. I might have had a plan, but not so much. I've had Slowpoke emails all day. We use Outlook. What is all Microsoft's issues affecting besides Outlook and Minecraft? Anything that uses Azure. And I got an email, I think from the Catholic Media Association, be like, oh, sorry, Azure's down. And I didn't even think of that it might affect Minecraft until I tried loading it and nothing happened. Xbox. I do like Crazy Straw. Actually, because that counts as 4 pegs halved. Maybe that's... Get rid of... Goose and Seal, our mighty team. Yeah, I'm thinking I might ditch... you know what? Kazoo. I don't really need Kazoo because I've got this combo making me really big stuff. The goose noise. This game does have the humor of a 12-year-old, I'm not gonna lie. Just finishing another Pokemon movie. Should I put on another movie or series? I think you should go movie, series, movie. Get the key and get out of there. You okay there, Goose? Yes, I will take an upgraded fish. So if I put the fish there, that's effectively the same as... well, that's 8. But maybe there's something better to type. Maybe it's... Maybe it's better if I copy this seal at this point. That should not have worked. However, if I get a second squid... Take an avocado. Hashtag millennial life. Bounce. I missed the Flood prequel. You missed the Flood prequel game. How bad was it? It was pretty bad. Had an angel looking at us the entire time. Like that. And then it soft locked because it just refused to allow us to progress. Like it just refused to accept that we turned in quests and give us the ability to move on to the next thing. So that was fun. Plus, it leaned into the archetype of you are the chosen one, when it's like, that has a lot of meaning in this context. Soft lock because you wanted to admit how awesome of a game it was. Yeah, it secretly had a microphone built in. There we go. Unfortunately, this build only really works if I can hit the highest number on the first go. You know, I hadn't really thought about it in all the time that I have played this game, but these are some noises, man. But shout out to the dev. Here he is, using his own picture in his game. It's a solo dev project. Dude's in college. Just does this in his free time. Just released it as a joke, and then it kind of took off, and he's like, oh. I have to do some extra work on this. Numbers go brrr. They do indeed, Beer Fox. Numbers go brrr. Makes Monkey Brain happy. You didn't know Balatro had a game mode like this. I know, it's crazy. It's like it's a whole nother game. Oh, final boss already. Yeah. So that's a normal... Oh, no, let's... Let's do... So that's just ordinary Tony. Then you have all these different other Tonys that are your boss or your supervisor. I personally like Baloney Tony because everything is randomized. This is how I got a high score of Google. Was on Baloney Tony. So every 2 seconds, double a random peg. That's pretty good. 5 pegs pop, summon a straw. It's pretty good. I don't like it when it has to trigger off another item. Has peg popped? I think Kazoo's a pretty good start here. And we'll save on Crazy Straw. Every 1 second. Oh, that's really good. Meat Orb. I'm actually going to say... I think I might save Meat Orb over Straw here. Again, sentences I never expected to say, but, you know, here I am. That went poorly. pegs pop. I don't really like either of those in this setting. So I'll just take the coins. Three pegs doubled. Pops a random peg. Gives points twice. It's a little slow, because that's every 6 seconds. And I'm not necessarily living every 6 seconds. However, upgraded meat orb. Your computer, I can hear the CPU fan turning on. Why? Nubby cannot possibly be that exhaustive on the system. Okay, we gotta win at least 3 gold coins. Perfect. Unoptimized add-ins. Result, I won. And now I'm on a Baloney Tony run. So if you like Number Go Burr, you can go worse. Ooh. Oh no! Let's see, 15 pegs popped, that's not very good. 2 pegs popped? Yes, that's really good, because this halves and doubles, so it triggers a lot of other things. Tree is good for infinite. Yeah, it is. Mess. Hey, you got Invisalign. You sent the Invisalign priest into the factory. He is there to give it a blessing. Honestly, that's pretty funny every 1 second. What's this one? 5 pegs halved. It's also 5 pegs halved, but I think... Yes, you can move item order. 2 pegs doubled. Honestly, asbestos plus tree. Again, not a sentence I expected to say. Ooh, and pegs half. That's pretty good. What is this? Hey, Stella. This is broken Minecraft. Microsoft Azure servers are down, so I can't access Minecraft. So instead we're playing Nubby's Number Factory. It's basically Number Go Burr the roguelike. Like, it just strips down to the bare essentials of Number Go Burr and color to pretty colors. Like that. Now that's some basic Number Go Burr. Oh, that was very good. Ooh, awkward. Those were really not good. CPU Go Burr. Apparently, every 4 seconds. When item 3 triggers 3 times. If the first peg pops, just honestly, that plus this is a pretty good combo. I just have to be sure to pop the highest peg. Not like that. Times 42, times 107, times 270, times 606, 1,692 times. Let's go. That's some Number Go Burr. Like how chill and almost vapor. Yeah. Oh, wait until you see the last level. The last level's incredibly vaporwave. Yeah, this is all made by a single dude. The dude wearing the baloney, he's the dev. So you just win the game now? You'd think that, but because of randomness, it's not necessarily guaranteed, and there is a thing. There's a kind of a balancing that the more multipliers you get, the more your next goal goes up as well. So my goal there was 1 million. And now it's still 1 million. I thought it would go up more. But it does. There is some counterbalancing, but this mode in particular, it's very easy to break. Because you can just get ridiculous combos like this that normally do not exist in the game. So I can unlock all of those. Now the thing is that I can put something in item slot 7 and make it trigger basically 3 extra times every second. So I think I kind of want to do that. Although maybe we put the asbestos there because it's upgraded. Ooh, Cheese House triggering every 3rd time item 1 triggers is pretty good. I might do that. Because it does decrease the amount that that will trigger, but it's okay. Now you might be thinking, well, why don't you put the fly there to get to trigger? It's like, well, items from the black market are corrupted and can't be force triggered. if I can't get the highest number first, like I'm equipped well enough to do well, but if I hit the highest number, then I basically go infinite. Because then the fly just keeps going off. What's the highest peg? 524k still? Okay. Also, the mouth wall terrifies me, I'm not gonna lie. I bet the bitrate is loving what's going on right now. Why'd you break Minecraft? I was bored. I needed to break. No, I blame Microsoft. It's pretty chunky. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it's hard to tell what's going on my screen. Don't worry, after this run, we're gonna switch to some. We'll switch probably to FTL, I think, because I don't think I can play this for 2 hours. Install Stone Block 4. Cool. I know nothing about it. Yeah, a little cheesy. Yeah, this game is $5, so... There are literally worse ways you can spend your money. It's a skyblock, but it's entombed. Ooh. That sounds like fun. I hope you can install it. I hope the servers are back up. I've gone infinite. That round I earned 25 quintillion points. What's the pro to being a priest that you feel like most people don't talk about? Ooh, that most people don't talk about. Well, one is that you never have to worry about missing mass. So long as you pre-plan and you have the stuff with you. It's like if you're going on vacation, you can be like, well, I'm going to pack up and, you know, say mass on a mountaintop while I'm camping. What's this planning thing? Well, there is that. Honestly, the health insurance is pretty good. I can't vouch for every diocese, but like where I have been and where I have lived, the health insurance has been very good. It's somewhat talked about, but there is a sense of job security. What's this health insurance thing? Oh, no! Have you served in, like, 4 dioceses? I have not, really. I mean, I've been in fairly urban places. D.C., Columbus, Ohio, New York. So I can't guarantee that it's everywhere, but I think there is an aspect to which it will always be true because the church needs her priests, and so she will make the investment to make sure they are healthy. That's true in South Dakota. Yeah, again, I can't vouch one way or another, but I would hazard a guess that the insurance is probably still pretty good. Yeah, it's not a reason to become a priest, but... Yeah, and again, I don't know what every diocese does. I know some dioceses will say, you know, you have to pay for that out of your just out of your wages, just like a normal person would. Some dioceses cover some of it or all of it. I know within us as the Paulists, because of how we live religious life and the equivalent of poverty, because we don't really live through poverty, because we do have a roof over our head and 3 square meals. But what am I trying to say? The community pays for our health needs. Yeah, this game is fairly new. It just came out a couple months ago. For community with poor health, not necessarily. Again, it can depend on where you are and like what access you have. There are sort of national funds which help take care of religious. So there's like SOAR, support our aging religious. That people can help. That can help religious with less funds, depending where they are in a community. Oftentimes, a doctor may help a religious community without expecting payment. So. But I would say generally, like, if a priest winds up in a hospital, like, and he's not there to do an anointing, he will be taken care of. Yeah, staffing is tight, and you know, balancing the budget. But that's another thing is that sometimes, and again, it can vary from diocese to diocese and order to order. Some dioceses handle the insurance themselves so the parish doesn't pay for it. And they have, like, funds set aside for that. Yeah, you have abundance of church mechanics capacity. Yeah, that is the clergy shortage, unfortunately. Upgraded fly. That's gonna multiply my score by 5. Crunchy. Yeah, here's the very vaporwave background. Is this the it is the final level. Adoration, you clearly mean random photo of child cuddling a dog. Well, I mean, they're not entirely wrong. A place that's appointments only, yeah. Statues be like. Yeah, decommissioning churches is hard. That was comedically bad. Yeah, that is tough, Chizo. Yeah, the priest on a road is the norm in a lot of rural areas. And that's a complicated thing. A lot of dioceses kind of exist in America, kind of exists as two separate dioceses. Because you'll have the urban one that is affluent and fine, and then you'll have the rural one, which is very spread out and doesn't have money. And that I've seen that happen in Virginia, in Ohio, in lots of states. I don't have a solution or anything. I'm just commenting that that is a reality that many places face. I mean, even New York City, like, you wouldn't think of it, but the Diocese of New York, it's not really rural, but it's like the edge of suburbia into rural on the northern end of the diocese up in Westchester County. There are only 5 dioceses in Ohio? Yeah, something like that. But where I'm from in Utah, there's only 1 diocese. So, like, there's another place where you have Salt Lake City, urban, affluent, then you have this southern Utah. Very, very rural. Gotta fight with a much larger religion locally in Utah. This is true. I don't know if fight's the right word, but I get what you mean. For half a second, you thought moving to Provo didn't last long, though. Provo's nice. Don't know if I'd want to live there. Really, the place with the MTC is bike-friendly? I'm shocked. Listen! No, the rest of Utah is not. It's not bike friendly. Really want to go somewhere rural? That's where you grew up. Maybe rural means something different in different places. Yeah, I mean, I think the exact definition of rural is going to change locally. But I think at its core, it will have some similarities. You know, like, rural Appalachia is going to be very different from rural Iowa. But I dare say both are rural. I have not seen another plastic tree this whole run. It's an hour from a large city. Don't think it's bad for the services that were available in your area. Grew up on 20 acres surrounded by a few neighbors and fields. Nice. So very much kind of, sounds like a farming kind of rural. Old towny farming. Nice. There we go. We beat that one as well. I'm gonna see if Minecraft's working again. I doubt it is, but I'm not playing Nubby for 2 hours. I think after this we'll switch over to the Kingdom Hearts Archipelago. Because I need to work on it. Yeah, no, Minecraft is still down. So let me get the Archipelago set up. Archipelago launcher. That's my username. Heard someone describe small towns 50 to 100K, and I'm like, huh? Yeah, again, different people's definitions can vary and be interesting. Now you may say a menu bar at the top. That is not a mistake. That's because this has a chance of breaking if you put it in regular mode, or if you put it in full screen. Looks like I got some good abilities, though. Glide actually unlocks a few things for me. Must not be a total outage. I see a few of your Twitchers playing Minecraft. Maybe it's, this for a moment. Maybe it's maybe they were already loaded in before it went out. My priest loves mid-series. Are you talking about Kingdom Hearts? They're calling it Kingdom Hearts mid? Because you'd be right. As a single player. Yeah, I don't know. It's the launcher just will not open for me right now.
This is it.
My priest is not fall for low effort rage bait. Nah, I know what Kingdom Hearts is. I'm not ashamed to admit it. I love Kingdom Hearts. It's really mid, actually. Gotta love AI data management service. Yeah. I will be skipping cutscenes because this is not a story playthrough. You can go watch that on my YouTube. Good job, Donald.
Come on. Come on. Come on.
I love that I don't have scan, so I don't know how much health they have. I love that so much when fighting a boss.
Come on.
You have an afternoon full of meetings. I'm so sorry. You take care. I'll see you on Friday.
Come on. Come on.
I really lucked out, by the way. So, in Kingdom Hearts Archipelago, your weapons have randomized stats, and the green sword gives me plus 14 attack and plus 3 magic. And I started with it. It's a little short, but I got an Archipelago item. Plot, 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 plot. A fighting tournament? Okay, so I got someone... Ironclad Rock, that's nice. I have a check I can do here really quickly, now that I have Glide. Leave me alone! I don't care about you. Did I miss the rural talk? I mean, we're open to still talk about it. Also good to see Inca. Do you like it where it's rural? I found Rico's auto launchers for StarCraft in Agrabah. Perfectly normal archipelago. You grew up rural. Okay, so part of the discussion is what does that mean? Like, what is the parameters of rural to you? I grew up completely in suburbia. Although I will admit, the suburbia I grew up in, the particular area I was in, was right on the border of being rural. Also, rural is a hard word to say over and over and over again. Can you roll your rurals? Rolling the R in the middle of rurals is hard. Because I can roll my R's. But in the middle of rural, it's a little tough. Okay, so here in Halloween Town, I have done everything I need to up to the point of getting to inside of Oogie's mansion. Situations living in a county with short ways with less than 5K. That's, for a county, that is really small and rural. Very agricultural. That sounds rural. Living in a city versus on the edge makes a difference. It really does.
Fire!
Yeah, let's see if Lock, Shock, and Barrel dumpster me. House is in the middle of the field. Nice. Not supposed to get this way, but I will. No, don't fall down, Sora. Evil playroom. That's not ominous at all.
Deep freeze! Deep freeze! Deep. See ya! See ya!
If I can hit him, my magic is actually pretty powerful.
This is it!
Okay, that's one down.
Heal! Heal! Take that! Take that! Take that! This is it! Take that!
Okay, that went pretty well.
I was just following orders.
Honestly, I think the smallest place I lived was my college town. That was at about 100K. And now I live somewhere that's half the size of where I lived in college, but has over 8 million people. It's just a little different. Good dodging skills there, guys. Keep up the good work. You guys really need to stop sharing the brain cell and just trust your primal instincts.
Take that! Donald! Goofy!
Goofy, you have scorned my gift. I gave unto you the gift of life, and you decided to squander it.
This is it!
My application stream is on yours. We're co-streaming. It was sharing my last brain cell. I think chat has it. We are playing Drink More Glurp. It's a fun party game. You don't have the brain cell? Well, that's good. Jerk.
See ya!
How dare you heal, especially when I cannot tell how much you are healing by. Sharing, this is my brain cell. Oh. I worked hard for it. I went to the brain cell mine and everything. No scan, only attack. Yep. Now we must defeat a house. You take care, Britt. We'll do our best to get you the brain cell. It'll be there in 2 to 4 business weeks.
Huh?
First for you, Britt. Man, having glide makes this so much easier.
This is it! This is it!
No, sorry, attack the group.
Come on!
There we go.
This is it! This is it! Take that!
I think there's just one left. Okay, maybe there's one more. It's okay, Donald. You can take a nap. You're done with the job? No. Oogie Boogie keeps coming back. There it is.
Ha! Come on! Ha!
Now I think I'm done with it. So your schedule for intentions of a mass pretty booked in it, my area or sparse? Oh, it's pretty booked. We open it up typically
Why did
sometime in November, and it gets booked almost within a month for the following year. And we do 2 daily masses a week, or a day, with 1 on Saturday, and then 5 weekend masses, including the Saturday vigil. So that's what, 12 plus 4? So that's 16 masses a week. And all those get filled? Yep. Very rarely I will see a daily mass that does not have an intention. Like once, maybe twice a year. Okay, so we finished Monstro. I beat Agrabah already. I can't beat Deep Jungle because someone needs to give me the slides so I can give them to Jane. I beat Wonderland. I can't do anything else in Traverse Town until I beat Deep Jungle, because then I can advance the plot there, and I can't do whatchamacallit first. You got Sunday area masses in your mass that don't have anything for like a year. Wow. Pretty thin, yeah. No, I guess we just have a really strong culture of mass intentions here in New York. Got frustrated to play Archipelago? I actually think it's a lot of fun. Kingdom Hearts is pretty forgiving when it comes to Archipelago. And you basically just get to play the fun parts of Kingdom Hearts, which is the combat. And exploration. Thought I had already done this. Maybe that's... I was playing this and the game crashed before I could save. This might be where. You don't know if you could wait for items? Yeah, it could really depend. Like, the nice thing about Kingdom Hearts, and this is even more so true for Kingdom Hearts 2, like, you don't need to wait for the most part. Because, like, Kingdom Hearts 2, you can go to whatever world you want. And there's only like a few things that are plot progression locked. But one, you can set it so that worlds have to be found, so that's what I've done, which makes it a little more interesting. But Kingdom Hearts is also just so rich in checks, like in terms of like chests and things, that like one world gives you a lot. It's not like some games where you get a world and it's like, oh, well, you gotta... You gotta wait again. Oh yeah, I remember when Peter and Yenza did the Minecraft one. That was interesting to watch. I attempted to solo Archipelago with Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 as part of the 500, but I didn't have things appropriately updated for 1, and so it did not work. Don't think I can... Yeah, I'm gonna have to... Let's see... No, I'm gonna have to wait to get that chest. That's okay. Who needs an elevator?
Come on!
My goal for the rest of this stream is to hopefully be able to beat Riku 1 and do some castle exploration.
This is it!
Do I have gravity? I do. Okay, that's good. Gravity is super helpful. Because it gets you some checks in this area. Yeah, okay, so this is... I did already come this way. And I found these items. So that's why it's not showing up in the corner saying, oh, this is what you sent. But unfortunately, it does mean I have to redo it. Post service should be returned around 7 Eastern time. Hey, nice. Even though I've already collected these items, I'm going to reopen these chests. It's kind of like an in-case sort of thing, especially if they have an item for me. Now, just treat the kids to supper. Hey, nice. Have a great evening. See, that was my own item.
Heal!
Nope.
Fire!
Need to put Vera on. Oops. Okay. I wasn't sure if I had to... activate this one over here first or not. It didn't look... It looked like I already had. But no, it does that. Over 20 years of playing this game, and I still get confused in this maze.
Deep freeze! Force! Come on!
Also, up until earlier today, I did not have Cure in this run, so that was making it interesting. No, I'm just going to ignore you guys. Let's fight. Riku. Clap, 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 clap.
Vicious! Heal! This is it! Deep freeze! Take that!
I have so much MP. I wish I had... There's a combo finisher move that does damage equal to your maximum number of MP. Rota must enter by the narrow gate. I had the Master Sisters today. I talked about, you know, yes, the gate is narrow, but we've seen the saints do it, and we know Jesus is walking alongside us to help us do it. But yeah, sometimes the person's life is hard, but it doesn't mean we do it alone.
Take that!
Unlike Riku, who tries to do everything alone, and look where that gets him.
Take that! Heal! Donald!
Okay, that went easier than I expected. Oh, is the library already solved? Did they just skip that? Oh, I kind of like the library puzzle. few more chests up here. Yeah. Oh, I got a keg for Pre-Pony. We're going to Pre-Pony's to party after this.
Force! Force!
That's what I just learned. Right, this is the extra long elevator. Now you actually have to come back and ride a second time, because you can switch that. All that for
See
this
ya!
chest. I hope this is something important. Titanite chunk. Okay. Well, those are useful. Tell you what, chat, though, I need a quick bio break, even though we're getting close to the end, but, so don't go anywhere. Be back in just about 90-ish seconds. So, yeah, then we'll be playing more Kingdom Hearts. And we are back. What do you mean the door's locked? They solved every puzzle for me except for the exit. What do you mean? I don't remember where to get it on its own. I remember how to do the whole pattern when I'm doing it. Oh no. Is that an Archipelago item? Does someone have to send me the book? I hadn't even considered such an option, chat. I think that's what it is. Oh no. That's gonna be a problem. There's one more thing we can check here. There's a white trinity. Let's go look at our world's options. Maybe someone sent me something while I was on break, hopefully. I wonder. She still wants the slides, but I can't find them because they're not lying around. So normally they'd be like little floaty things around the camp that you'd see. But I wonder if I can get into the Gorilla Falls area. By gliding. I don't think I can. I think that wall's... Yeah, that wall is blocked off until Clayton breaks it open with the mimic. How would I even look for that? Like, I can, in the like client that you use to connect, there's like a hint system, but I don't know the name of the book I'm looking for, unfortunately. I just know I'm looking for a book.
Ha!
We love invisible walls. You know, there's a faster way to do this. I shall fly there. Ah, yes, the green trinity on a green background. I love it. Tunnel. Climbing trees. Here we go. Got a blue trinity here. I think there's a white trinity in the cabin upstairs. So that'll be something. Oh, and I can glide out to the boat, to the lifeboat elevator thing that they made. Hello, Sabor. How are you? I didn't know Sabor could be flattened by Gravira. Most bosses can't. Like, their sprite doesn't flatten. I learned something new today. So weird that they modeled so much of this, and it's an area you can get to in the later game once you get high jump, and yet also there's not really anything up here. You can get on top of this and then you start sliding off instantly. The vibes are up here. That's true. There's also a ladder on that side. I've never climbed this ladder. This is all new territory to me. I have never been up here. I didn't know this was even here. And there is one treasure chest. Okay, it gave K-Max access to a Mega Man level. That's actually pretty big. Something Kingdom Hearts Father Evan doesn't know? Yeah. Occasionally there are a few things. So unfortunately that puts that into the end. I don't think I have Yellow Trinity. Don't have a journal. Journal should tell me. Yeah, I only have blue, green, and white. I still need red and yellow. There's a yellow one right next to Merlin's hut that I know Jake needs. He pinged me about it. Oh, this will give me some checks now that they're here. Because he'll give me... Okay, so scavenger mask for Jade. Some pepper for Jade, apparently. Don't know if that's good or not. Rico's aspect, okay. And something for K-Max and Mega Man, again. I've gotten him a weapon, a level, and a something else. Soulbound's Defender, that's not... Soulbound is also playing Kingdom Hearts 1. And so that's just a shield for Goofy, which may or may not be good because it's Fluke Nest. I think that's a good thing for the map hack. He's playing Hollow Knight. See if I have enough for the Dalmatians. Yes! They'll give me at least one item. 2. 3. So it's Mining Mastery, same Waffles Mining Mastery, and something else that didn't show up, but... Okay. That's more things. My big problem, though, is I can't activate... I can't get into the bell at the top of Gizmo's workshop. Because I haven't triggered that story beat yet. But I can't do that until I get the second... until I beat Tarzan's World and I get the gummy. And I need the Red Trinity for it. I kind of need a lot of things. We'll go talk to the fairy godmother, maybe. Maybe I have a gem to turn in. And until you beat the boss tied to the bell tower, you cannot... Okay, I don't have any gems for her. You cannot do Winnie the Pooh's world, which is unfortunate because I have like 4 of the 5 torn pages. So I could knock those out real quick, but I'm in, as they call it, BK mode. Burger King mode. I'm not going to go get Burger King, but... The joke was originally a randomizer. One player got stuck and couldn't do anything until someone else sent him things, so he went to Burger King, ordered a meal, came back and ate it before he got the thing, so they nicknamed it Burger King mode. BK mode. The more you know. But I guess that's where we'll call it for the day. So thanks so much for tuning in to Let Us Play. I've been your host, Father Evan. It's been a good to be with y'all today on this somewhat madcap adventure of Nubby's Number Blast and Kingdom Hearts Archipelago instead of Minecraft because Microsoft Azure's down. We love it. Join us again tomorrow for more Riven. I think we might be able to finish it. Maybe we'll see. I don't remember where we were, what we were up to, so we'll figure that out. I have some ideas though. And then tonight, special bonus stream, 8 p.m. Gonna play Drink More Glurp. It's a party game with P Tony, so that should be fun. Gail may be joining that as well. Thank you. I quite like this cardigan. I like that it's black, that it has a rolled collar. You know, it's got a lot going for it. I quite like it. What else? So next week, Kingdom Hearts Recoded for Monday, Rhyme for Spirituality Tuesday, and hopefully midweek Minecraft. But no Thursday stream next week because I'm going to reach that day, so that'll be fun. So yeah, so I think that's everything. So thank you to everyone who's liked, followed, subscribed, given bits, all that good jazz. Thank you for checking out the YouTube and the Discord. And why don't we see who's live that we can raid into? So and someone from the Archipelago would be live, but they aren't. Oh well. Anyway, I'm going to send you to Katie Fu. She's a friend of the channel. She is playing a Might and Magic game. Raid call is just the standard father raid, or talk about Minecraft being broken. But anyway, hope you have a great rest of your day. Take care. God bless.